Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we've got the game of Harmony. Produced by, I like how they have a produced by and brought to you by the Code Monkeys, huh? Alright, so what are we doing here? No clue what we're trying to do. Oh, are we trying to... Do we blow up here? No, okay, we just bounce off everything. Boink. Alright, so all we're doing is making them crash into each other. I don't really see where... Okay, I guess I have to say there's where the difficulty is. I mean, this is a perfect example of a perfectly playable Game Boy game. I mean, all you gotta do is finesse it, really? So I think now we have to actually combine. Will they get out of the way? So I think we have to hit all the ones that... Because those are squares, right? Or is it just a square up top? I guess we're going to find out, right? So is that what happens? We release something if they're not the same? Oh, it just grows into something else. Okay. Oh, wow, we're starting to get into some interestingness. Okay. Ah, they missed. Okay, so, yeah. I really don't know what happened, but whatever, I guess. No! Dagnabbit. They were supposed to hit the other ones and not that one. I mean, the control, it doesn't control overly well, but I mean, that is part of the what the game is being obnoxiously difficult to move around. I mean, this is definitely a decent enough being on Game Boy, but it's not necessarily a very enjoyable game. Yeah, the controls just really make the game very not fun. I mean, again, that's what they're going for. You know this. And then, like, you can't tell what the stuff is. At some point, it loses recognition. So you're just trying to figure out what the hell shapes are in there. So that would be an issue, especially on Game Boy. Like, I really see that being a problem. Is because the screen's already going to be small enough. It's almost like we're playing pool without playing pool. So I don't know why or how they're like it's doing the timing, but all in all, it's not a bad game, but it's also not really an extremely good one either. It's one of those. It's playable by all standards. But yeah, the controls leave so much to be desired. I get most of what they're trying to do, and I understand, so I can't fault it too much for being, you know, what it is. But it is very obnoxious. Like, after a while, you're just like, this is not fun because of... Did we get there? Oh, we got there. But all in all, it's a game. I mean, it's a playable game, but it's not an overly enjoyable game just due to, like I said, the controls suck. You're just bouncing all over the place, which I know is on purpose, but still doesn't make it fun. And why they didn't touch the also the geometry is the geometry is a little, I mean, it does decent enough, but it still isn't as good as it could be for doing some things. Like, you see a couple times where there's some issues. And yeah, it just turns into this big clusterfuck of craziness. And because the controls are what they are, trying to get anywhere is just... Like, at this point, I can't tell what's what. Yeah, we're just kind of all over the place. Boop. But all things considered, I mean, it's definitely a doable Game Boy game. Even though you're going to have a lot of issues trying to figure out what the hell pictures are what. So all in all, like, I get what they're doing. And that in and of itself does function. I'm guessing exactly how they wanted it to be. But honestly, I think it would be a lot more fun if the controls didn't suck as bad as they do. The free floating in the balloon thing, we screwed that up. We didn't hit though. That's good, I guess, but we're so fucking far out now. It's just... Like, if there was at least even some response time when you try to change direction and move, would be great. But, like, you change direction and you just keep flowing where you're flowing, even though it's supposed to be going in a different direction. And then you just start becoming more and more frustrated with everything, and just... You're liking it less and less the more you play it because of the way the game controls. Like, I understand that they're doing it as a challenge, but it stops being a challenge and just starts being more of a frustration. And we're dead. See, it goes from difficult to just obnoxious, annoying, frustrating, and not fun. in the span of like a couple of minutes playing it, because you want to be able to actually kind of move. And I can understand if you kind of move and then, you know, it does a little poof and then you kind of change direction. But it doesn't. It kind of keeps floating and you're trying to get it. And then eventually it'll go where you want it to. But by then, that's not where you want to go. So you got to try to change. And the whole thing becomes this really annoying game where you're trying to go in a direction that is no longer the direction that you want to go by the time you get to it. And like it's so slow in responding and moving that it's just not fun. And then you're just like kind of over it, and then you're just like, at whatever kind of silliness and fun there was, the controls just totally take you out of the game, and there's no harmony whatsoever. Like, you are just in this constant thing of annoyed as fuck and frustrated because your goddamn thing won't move in any way, shape, or form the way you want it to. So between that and the fact that on Game Boy, like, you saw the actual shapes will honestly start to like not be visible on Game Boy in some spots, and then it's just going to cause this chain reaction of annoyances, and then you're going to lose because you can't see what the shape is inside, and you wind up doing everything wrong. So all in all, a playable game, definitely works well for only being on Game Boy, but it could actually lend itself to being like, could have been a decent enough NES game. If you actually had a much better game plan, Super NES could have worked, but it is perfect for Game Boy if they actually made the controls a little bit better. So all in all, it's playable. It is what they wanted it to be, even though I don't think they thunk it through, because it's not enjoyable after a little bit because the controls suck so bad. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, you guys have a good one.